What is this place? Looking at my surroundings, I find myself in a small room that didn't have much to it. There's a sink on my right and a window to my left. In front of me was the room's door, and on it, a little window. However, I can't see anything out of it with my angle. I'm laying on a bed that was against the back wall in the center. There's a beeping coming from the right as well. Looking to my right, I saw a couple bags of fluid in them. There was a cord that came from them at the bottom. I observed the cord and followed it with my eyes to see where it led. It led to my bed. Removing the warm covers, I could see that I'm connected to these bags with tubes. This is a hospital. But where? And why? What happened to the ponies? Am I here because of Discord? Is this another trick? Questions kept flooding my mind. Suddenly, a nurse eased her way into the room, not really noticing that I was awake. She now walks over to some machines, which I assume were checking my heart rate. She looks at the screen for about 5 seconds, and then turns to look at me. Her expression drops, as if I'm a ghost who just scared her. She then stands frozen, just staring at me for a while. I'm a bit confused as to why she's staring at me like that, but I have a really bad feeling now. She started to make her way towards the door, still staring at me and not breaking eye contact. When she arrived at the door, she turns her head back against me and rushes out the door. This can't be good. Something is not right here. She burst back into the door after shortly leaving, still wearing the shocked expression, and now pointing at me. A man enters after her, wearing the same white scrubs as her. I would assume this is the doctor. He looks at me, intrigued, but not as appalled as the nurse. He strolls up to the bed that I was laying in and carefully sits on the side, taking caution not to mess with any of the medical equipment. "How are you feeling?" the doctor asks, with a slight smile. The nurse is still standing by the doorway now, with her hands on her cheeks. "Maybe somebody found me in the dungeon, and when they did, they brought me to the hospital." "Fine. What happened?" I replied. The doctor replies at my question, asking, "What do you remember?" What should I tell him? I'm not even sure how I got to this hospital. I was in Discord's dungeon. I got the last element. Then they arrived. And now I'm here. The doctor then raised his brown bushy eyebrows at what I had to say. He looks a bit taken aback, but did a slight cough to relieve the shock. He quickly adjusts his glasses and looks at me. "Yes, that seems quite normal. Listen, there's something that I need to tell you that may be unexpected. I hope this will be as least shocking as possible." What is he talking about? Unexpected? I'm not sure of any other way of putting this, the doctor continued. But you have been in a coma. Coma. My thinking halted. My feelings collapsed. My breath thinned. Coma. Is this some sort of freaking joke? I've been traveling for years, looking for the elements. I found them all. Why would they lie to me? The doctor tries to comfort me as he continues to ramble on about how I've been in a coma. With aggravation and confusion, it started to become impossible to listen to him anymore. "You liar!" I spewed out of my mouth. "I've been traveling for years, and you tell me this crap? What is going on?" The doctor, not seemingly fazed by my rebuttal, calmly replies, I know this is hard to believe, and a lot to take in, but you have been in a deep sleep for years. No. You're wrong! When you hadn't shown up for work for several days, your boss sent a fellow employee to your house. He found you sleeping on a sofa upstairs. He tried to wake you, but he couldn't. He called us, and, well, we brought you here. You've been here for a long time. He found me on a sofa. I fell asleep on that sofa when I had the dream with Celestia. The doctor continued. You have a rare inflammation on your brain tissue, or encephalitis, that triggered the coma. We have been trying to treat it, but it's been mostly futile. He paused for a moment and looked down toward the floor. He seemed to be trying to figure out what to say to me next. I'm sorry to say, but everything you might have done has just been a symptom of the coma. This is the reality. You've been here in the hospital the whole time. No, stop it! Stop lying to me! Just stop! I yelled furiously. I am sorry. The doctor scooted closer to me and put his hand on my shoulder. I truly am. I understand this is a lot of new news to you. It is very lucky you're awake now. However, we are not sure for how long. Not sure for how long? What? The doctor removed his hand from my shoulder, starting to look toward the ground once again. Your encephalitis is very severe, probably the most dangerous we have ever seen. It has been difficult, almost impossible to treat. It's highly likely that you will return to a comatose state. Probably be as long or longer than the last. If by some miracle you are actually able to wake up again, that is. I want to scream. I want to shout. I want to spew at him and call him a liar. Something inside of me knows he is right. My adventures didn't even make sense. Nothing lined up in them. Collecting gems to find ponies? I tried to think back on my adventures, but they were now seeming to slip my mind. My memories were fleeting. All the details of when I got the elements were vanishing one by one. Why can't I remember? Why would the ponies come to my world anyway? They were a cartoon, so why would I go on an epic quest to find them? Was this all a dream? Have I been sitting in this bed, rotting my life away? I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't know what to think. What is the truth? The doctor is now out of the room, leaving me in the bed. He tells me not to leave. It would make my risk for getting in another coma rise. He must have gone to get medical supplies or perhaps do some research. I'm in my room, on my bed, alone, just like I have always been. It's hard to believe that everything that has transpired was all a facade. But the doctor presented me documents of when I checked into the hospital. Needless to say, it was the same day I found the element of magic. The same day I fell asleep on the sofa. So what am I supposed to do? I was dreaming my one desire, which was to be with the ponies. To find them, to be with them, to love them, and for them to love me back. Suddenly, my eyes started to feel heavy. No! Hopefully I was just tired, but I couldn't take the risk. I might be heading into another coma. I can't waste my life away again. But I can't fight it. It strikes me with a force I couldn't resist. I'm afraid to fall asleep. I tried to move my hand over to the call nurse button, yet I feel so weak. I tried to use any muscle that was willing to move in my body, but I couldn't hardly move, let alone get out of bed. I tried to yell to the doctor, but I could hardly even talk at a normal volume. I guess this is it, I muttered. I start to think back of what was left of my dreams. All that I have learned. Sure, they may have only been dreams, but I still learned so much. I've learned that emotions... I've learned that sometimes unexplainable things need not to be questioned, but rather embraced, for they may lead to a good future. I've learned to always tell the truth, because you will be rewarded. Maybe not right away, but at some point you will. I've learned that sometimes you have to put others before yourself. You never know, you might change their life with a few kind words. I've learned
that sometimes your life might really suck. But why should you be stuck in a mindset that will only make you sad? Laugh. Have fun. I've learned that when you sacrifice something of your own, no matter what it may be, you will be the one who gets rewarded the most. I've learned that no matter how hard things might get, always stay true to yourself. Never back down in what you believe in. I started to weep greatly. I guess up until now, I never realized all that I have learned. Even if I dreamed a large portion of my life, was it truly a waste? No. All that I have learned is priceless, even if I am unable to use it in a living life. But there was one more question that needs to be answered. How could these ponies teach me so much if they were fake? How could a cartoon teach a growing man life-changing lessons? They could not. A cartoon about colorful ponies would not change a man, unless, that is, they were real. I don't care if it was all a dream anymore. They had to be real. It is impossible for them to teach me so much and be fake at the same time. Call me crazy, I don't care. I have faith in them. I know they are out there somewhere. I was fighting my body to stay awake. At any moment now, I would sleep again. But it felt like this sleep may be of the longest, almost as if it were the last. But still, I uttered, I regret nothing. As I said this, the most unbelievable thing happened. Out of nowhere, Twilight, Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Princess Celestia all stood around my bed. They were frozen and appeared to be ghosts, but they were all there. I knew better, though. In my last moments, I knew this was just my imagination. It was just something I wanted to see. They were not really there. I know they are real elsewhere, but these are just ghosts. It looks like I am now slipping into another dream. I started to smile and laugh. I wish you were all with me now. My smile slowly vanished. I knew you were with me the whole time, even if it was a dream. I wish I could have found you. I sighed, and my eyes were nearly shut. But you know, you are real. You will always hold a place in my heart, even though I can't touch you, even though I can't hear you. I know you are there. There's no one else I would rather be with than all of you right now. They may be just illusions, but it felt real good to say all of that. They might have heard me, wherever they may be, or maybe they didn't hear me, but that's okay. I'll be at rest when I sleep. Without warning, Twilight broke her frozen stance and looked over at me to smile. My eyes instantly shut up and my mouth dropped. I was unable to speak. Tears swept over me once again, as I could not believe she was moving. How was that possible? I'm not asleep yet. Twilight quickly retreated her smile and started to focus on something. I couldn't tell what it was until her horn started to glow. What was she doing? This can't be happening. From her horn emerged a blinding white light. I was looking directly into her horn, so the full impact was on my eyes. I couldn't get my hands in front of my face to shield my eyes, so I simply closed them and put my head down. After a little bit, I slowly opened up my eyes and looked up, still squinting from the impact of the light. I looked at the end of my bed. The ponies were there, but how? They were no longer ghosts. The colors of them became normal. They moved, they had life! My mouth dropped again. I didn't know how to react. As I gazed at them, Celestia moved and was walking closer to the head of the bed. She put her hoof on my chest. I could feel her hoof. Twilight followed closely behind her, and was eventually standing at her side, looking at me with a small smirk on her face. Applejack came near me on the other side of my bed, and started to look me straight in the eye. She wouldn't blink, and she didn't break contact. Fluttershy used her little wings to hover herself over the bed near my right arm. Fluttershy, using her mouth, quickly tucked in one of the sides of the blanket that had fallen loose from under me. She then laid down and put her head on my chest, smiling at me.
My eyes were heavy again. Pinkie Pie was unlike Fluttershy. She jumped up on the bed, making it wobble a little bit, and sat near my legs. A large smile she wore. Rarity trotted over to where Applejack was, and using her mouth, she took off the fashionable scarf that she was wearing and placed it around my neck so that I wouldn't get cold as well. I was about to fall asleep. Rainbow Dash flew over to the side that Princess Celestia and Twilight were on. She reached her hoof under my blanket and grabbed my hand with her hoof. She gave me a little smile, but wasn't able to keep eye contact for long. However, she never let go of my hand. While hardly being awake, I looked at each of the ponies. Silent tears rolled down my face. I can feel all of you. I could hardly mutter. Princess Celestia was the only one to speak. You found us, the first of your kind after many generations. She started to get closer to my face. Although we must part, just remember, we will never leave you. Even when you can't see us, just remember, we are always there. You have our blessings. With what I had left in me, I could only get a few words. You are real. My eyes closed, and I fell asleep once again. Maybe someday I will wake. Never lose faith. And as I fell, I hear these final words from a familiar voice. It wasn't any of the ponies, but I feel as if I were close to it. Your journey has come to a close. It is now time for you to finally take your peaceful rest. Good night.